make some content that's entertaining, relatable, and educational. And I want to shoot it out in a wide net, whether I'm a carpenter, a celebrity, whatever it is, if I'm in comedy, whatever, I want to shoot it out in a wide net and start to collect data. You will attract people that are going to like your content of what you're putting out by law of attraction. And you find your top 20, 30%, and then you start catering your content to that 20 to 30%.
Hello. Welcome to another knowledge bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have John Edmonds Kozma.
And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself.
John is the CEO of Bang Productions, executive producer, entrepreneur, and thought leader in the entertainment industry. John changed how the comedy industry produces business. He was the pioneer in breaking the national touring comedian through social media. He is a subject matter expert in tech and entertainment that draws on over 20 years of working on both sides of the camera with talent. John created Bang Production to offer an entire new approach to entertainment called the micro studio. He developed a universal approach to establishing a position of influence using precise data from media. John's expertise result in Bang's production social media channels reaching over 1.2 billion viewers yearly. Please help me welcome John with Finding a Perfect Audience.
This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
My name is John Edmonds Kozma. I'm the CEO of Bang Productions, and I'm from a small town in North Carolina called Bostic, North Carolina. And I've done a few things and played baseball in college and got into the entertainment business and changed the way comedy did business. And now I'm a partner with Meta. I think we've been a partner with Meta for about 4 years now. And also we were approached by TikTok this year, and we are one of the fastest growing TikTok live creator network agencies in the United States. I played baseball and at Spartanburg Methodist, and then came down here to Charleston, South Carolina, where I live now, and played at Charleston Southern. And, almost went pro, believe it or not. And I got rotator cuff tendonitis in my right arm. And I decided to go to the modeling game because I wasn't a bad looking guy. And I did that a couple years. And I probably would have went pro in baseball if I didn't like to party too much. And I think that kind of threw my career to the left a little bit, but got into modeling and did that for 3 or 4 years and got the bug. Finally got my degree. And I did try the corporate thing when I was 25. Got into the car business, was in finance in the car business, ran a dealership, and then I went to mortgage brokerage, home mortgages, and then I hated it and went from making $150,000 a year to $15,000 a year when I walked out of that job, and went full force into the entertainment business.
So here it is. You just said something, and you said $150,000, and most people, whether they like it or not, they would stick to it for the money. What made you make that decision and say, you know what, I'm going to leave all this and I'm going to chase what I love? What was that decision about?
I don't know. I think I've been a type of person, I never had a lot of fear. And I think at the time, I don't know. I was working 14, 15 hours. It seemed like a day. Well, that might be a little much, but 12 to 15 hours some days. And I would get up and feel sick and throw up. And, I was 28 years old, living in a, $300,000 house. I had 7 houses, had a lot of stuff going on, and just, I don't know, just wasn't happy. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the corporate structure. I didn't like the the negative energy. I didn't like the talk behind the pillars and
Yeah.
the talk behind the cubicles and all that stuff. And I just took a shot.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I bought a camera and just started filming stuff.
Wow. A camera and just started filming stuff. That's
Yeah, man.
That's pretty amazing. Sounds like to me that you didn't wait till the perfect equipment and all the lighting and all these different things, but you just started with what you had. Talk a little bit about that. So you say you went from 100,000 to about 15,000. What was those years like?
I mean, I just went after it. I mean, I think I was one of the first people to produce a music video in
Mm.
downtown Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow.
I did at a place called Mythos, and that hadn't been done. It's about a $50,000 budget because I befriended this artist, Dale, and he did a remake of Careless Whisper, and he just liked me. We kind of hit it off, and I had some experience, but I was really the only thing in town that was really trying to hustle,
Yeah.
because there is a limitation in certain environments
Yeah.
about what you can and cannot do. And I think I maxed it out, and they gave me a shot. It was a $50,000 budget, and that was the first thing I did,
Mm.
kind of on a major level, and did several after that, and realized I wasn't going to get paid anything from doing that, because even though it was a $50,000 budget, I had to hire 25 people
Wow.
to do one gig, and I didn't make any money.
Mm.
So that's when I realized too. I said I got to teach myself how to do every one of these jobs and know what I'm doing. So actually, after that point, not making any money in the music video game, I taught myself how to do everything in
Mm.
production. I always just say this thing about foundation,
Mm.
and I just said if I'm going to do something, I need to build a foundation, because I didn't like to be in a conversation and not know what the grip guy or the lighting guy was saying. I
Mm.
felt like I was lost. So if I have that information and I'm working with somebody and I do have to hire them and I know how to do their job, there's no threat. You can make the right decision whether that position is needed or not, because if that's something you can do, right, maybe that saves you $3,000.
Yeah. Let's talk about Bang Production. What is the story behind the business idea and how did it come to fruition?
Well, when we were in North Carolina and Charlotte, we actually, before the music video piece, we
Mhm.
actually did a short film, and then I got into the business with the tourism, and we had, back in the day in Charlotte, had all the TVs in all the hotels.
Mm.
So we would sell ads for those TVs in all the hotels and produce the ads, and that was just something I hustled my way into and
Jeez.
got the deal for. Did a music video, I forgot, for Ruthless Records,
Wow.
for Eazy-E's old label, for a group called Spy Mob, and we did some pretty decent acts, but I still didn't make any money. And then I said, if I'm going to do this, quit my job. Hell, I moved to LA and got an apartment
Mm.
in Brentwood, California. And then I met a guy named Jeff Pacosta, who was into motorcycles, enduro racing, and all this. Got introduced to a guy, this TV executive guy, Billy. I can't remember his name. It was Billy Abrams. I think it's Billy Abrams introduced me to Jeff Pacosta. And well, and believe it or not, Jeff Pacosta's wife today, Tracy Pacosta, is head of comedy at Netflix, ironically. But at the time, I greenlit. I had someone that would back me in North Carolina. I greenlit this project called the Enduro at Erzberg,
Mm.
and we brought enduro racing to American television. We aired it on Outdoor Life Network. The only thing Red Bull wanted from us is the time slot on Outdoor Life Network, which is now NBC Sports, and that was it back in the day. And this was before Nitro Circus.
It's insane.
Just rolled the dice, man.
Yes, I love this and I love that. I mean, this relentless behavior and just really going all in. Let's talk about fundraising. I mean, how did you get these projects going? I mean, did you like reach out to some millionaires or some individuals in the area, some influencers? I mean, what was the game plan around that?
Got some guys to believe in what I was doing, and I think you got to be down to earth.
Wow.
You know, if you're down to earth with people, even though back then, I might have had a little mouthpiece on me, I'm a
Mm,
little different today. I would call, I would just keep calling and calling and calling. If I said I was going to do something, I would do it or die trying.
mm,
I never would say I was going to do something and not try to do it. I
mm,
was just that type of guy. I mean, I would just go
mm.
and not even think, and I had at the time when I quit that job had there's 7 houses. I think the mortgages were like 5 to 6 grand a month. Hell, I didn't know if I was going to survive or not, but I didn't even think about that.
Sure.
I didn't let that be a limitation,
Yeah.
on what my decision was going to be. And at the time, I think my grandfather had passed away a year prior to that, and my dad was from New Jersey, and that house was empty, and they're like, you think you could run your business in outside Manhattan, and went up there and rebuilt, from zero. And here we are today. You're kind of in this vapor. I mean, hell, I was partners with Nick Cassavetes out there. I mean, I had an office on the Hollywood and Vine.
Yes.
I had Mick Jagger's old office,
Wow.
and I raised some money to do a film with Nick Cassavetes, and I went into the Chateau Marmar with Nick and Chuck Pacheco. And
Mm.
Chuck Pacheco manages Leonardo DiCaprio. He manages Nick. I think he manages Toby. And I went in there and gave Nick. I wanted to do the deal so bad, have him write this script for this film. I gave him a check for $250,000 in the Chateau Marmar, and wrote a contract on a napkin,
Oh
and
man.
they thought I was nuts, and they took the check, but I got them involved. That was a big learning experience because Nick never got us behind us to make the movie, unfortunately, and I realized that, no matter how big of a name someone is, you
Mm.
got to make them accountable to you. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're president of the United States. If they're not accountable to you, and when you're doing business with them one on one, then you don't got anything,
Yeah.
because the vapor and the hype, who they are, they're not, that's not a check. They're not writing you a check,
Yeah.
and I realize that celebrities will never write you a check. So
Mm.
that was a huge, huge learning experience, because I can remember driving down Sunset Boulevard and just saying, "Hey, I'm partners with Nick Cassavetes," and I felt like I was floating, you know. And I floated my way back to the East Coast broke,
Jeez.
and that was a big turning point. That was a big curve. And then when I went to New York, I had to eat crow for a couple years. Hell, I had to bartend, after being partners with Nick Cassavetes, having lunch with Cameron Diaz. I bartended for a couple years at a country club just so I could, have some money, and rebuilt from zero from that point on.
I'm just so amazed. I mean, like a freight train. I mean, you just going. I mean, the wall coming, you go right through it. What in your mind that kept you? I mean, you talking this vision. You just kept going, no matter what. What was your thought behind that? I don't assume.
When I started bartending, just dealing with people because they don't know who you are, and they think you're just a bartender. And but I told myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the best bartender they have ever had. So I went to work. I mean, and I did. I made myself the best bartender they ever had. And I mean, I would come into the bar, I would clean the bar head to toe. Everything was in place, everything was ready to go, and ended up crushing them. The guys I started making, 2 grand a week or something like that. But
Yes.
yeah, I just made myself the best bartender I could be. And it kind of leads to finding a perfect audience. I think I learned from the people in there. When you understand that you learn life through people,
Mm.
through human beings, and I think the more people you can meet in different environments in your life, that teaches you the more than you can ever learn anywhere. Or so I started saying these words: environment, foundation, sensitivities, tone, timing, emotions, landscape, or consciousness. I realized that the three buckets of content are entertaining, relatable, and educational. And the first phase is environment, foundation, sensitivities. So if you're a creator, you're a business person or whatever, just like when you're born in an environment, you bring some lineage to the table. If you're a business, you bring some lineage to the table, right? You have somewhat of an environment you think because most businesses are off 20 to 30% on who their true customer is. Um, and you want to start. You assess all these things in your environment. I want to make some content that's entertaining, relatable, and educational. And I want to shoot it out in a wide net, whether I'm a carpenter, a celebrity, whatever it is. If I'm in comedy, whatever, I'm going to shoot it out in a wide net and start to collect data. You will attract people that are going to like your content of what you're putting out by law of attraction. And the data is the demographics. You start to build your foundation. And when I say build your foundation, let's say if you have one entity, you end up with 90% female fan base, 10% male, the other's 50-50. And as this data comes in, you're going to break it down and you find your top 20-30%, and then you start catering your content to that 20 to 30% within that data.
This is good.
Right? You cater your content to that. So you keep improving your content based on the data.
Yeah.
This is where everything starts to change because you're homing in on that law of attraction, and you keep perfecting that, and you're bringing in these numbers, right? So that's once you build have a big enough foundation, you create your sensibilities. Is when you understand that I have a 90% female fan base, 10% male, or I have a 50-50, male female thing. So when you go out and you start communicating, right? We're still making content that's entertaining, relatable, educational. When you start communicating, I know that 25 to 34-year-old female is the most reactionary online, and they will respond immediately, right? So that 90-10 over here, I know how they're going to respond because I know how this female fan base will respond. Then you look at the 50-50, when you throw in that male percentage, the males wait. They wait. They're going to offset that reaction. So you have to understand that. Even though if you have two businesses or two talents, they could be the same type of talent. But the one over here, the 50-50, because they didn't understand the demographics, they said, he didn't work. And I know the industry and a business or whatever, how many people they missed, but they were the same talent level, even though they didn't have that 90% female fan base. They didn't know how to communicate. So once you understand the things like that in phase one, you go to phase two. The first thing is tone. Okay. We're communicating with tone. Still, the content's the same. Content is, entertaining, educational, and relatable. And just like in life, you hang out with people probably with a very similar tone that you do. So if you're communicating with a certain tone, you're communicating with the tone based on your foundation and your sensitivities, and you're attracting other people with a similar tone that may not be a customer or fan base by law of attraction. The second part of phase two is timing, because you understand your demographics, you understand your foundation. The timing is when you communicate, because that my people are going to communicate on Thursday at 4:30. So you're very poignant with your communication, with the timing, right? And when the last phase is emotion, and I'm trying to move this to consciousness. And the book that I got coming out is, emotions. This is where in life you make all the bad decisions. All the bad decisions are very emotional. And even when you're online, I see these CEOs, right? I see these CEOs like, oh, that 1% made a bad comment, and they have this knee-jerk reaction and want to change the world. You don't change the world if you did phase one and phase two right. You just look at that emotional response, right? And you make the micro fixes. You step back, you make the micro fixes, and you continue to improve this process and create a pure source customer, right? And this will get your business or your talent, whoever it is, to consciousness. And that in life, you get to a certain age in life, it's called full functionality. You're able to function fully how you want to live your life with a pure source. And that's finding a perfect audience. And dude, and the thing about it is there's pieces of this puzzle, like when you understand this, and this is kind of the elevator pitch of it. When you understand this, when you look at pieces of outsourced business, right? Like a training. Let's say I want to hire a company that wants to come in and train my business. And the thing about it is they come in and do like a 100 people questionnaire about this corporation. That's not enough data. They're going to come in. They don't even know the sensitivities of your business. They're going to hit you overhead with an absolute, trying to train you something they've trained to 40 other companies. And it doesn't work. And it's just like when a CEO wants to put out a creative because he likes fishing. You're wasting money. I don't care if the CEO likes fishing. You got to understand your pure source. Or you hire a marketing company. You hire a marketing company. They don't know the sensitivities of your business.
Jeez.
This is something that's got to come within
Jeez.
your business, within your culture. And if that comes within, with this process, to me, this will save people millions of dollars. And in AI too. AI, I'll comment on AI. If AI is mathematical or architectural or something like that, you can depend on the AI. But you cannot, when all these companies have already spent all this money, the thing about it is when it has that human factor involved in it, the AI only responds to the data it's received. So the process is going to be faster, but your customer's still off 30% and you're still going to get the same result. So I think in that AI space, I think businesses are 5 years away until they reset or rebirth their business the right way and create a pure source customer.
Load of knowledge. Bombs, John.
I want to say something that resonates to you too. Like, from your pure source. You got to stay on your pure source. Don't let anybody ever deter you on what's coming from the heart. Because the heart's got you here so far, but if you perfect that heart, that shines through even more.
Jeez, you really drop some knowledge here. Finding the perfect audience. Do you have any resources on that for us?
Yeah, I do. We do have a book coming out. I don't know the date. We're in writing it right now. I got to do a rewrite, but it's called Finding a Perfect Audience, Cracking the Social Media Code. Hopefully we'll get it out first quarter of next year. And when you think about this in life too, we give everything away.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is when we're born, and I'm going to get a little philosophical.
Go for it.
When we're born, when we show up, just like in Perfect Audience, your subconscious is being programmed. And then when you get to a certain point in life, your unconscious bias is responding to that programming and you don't even know it. And because we give everything away and we don't relish anything, we're only trying to hit a goal or meet something. We're not relishing anything as a human person. If you don't understand that, right, that's why you can't get the consciousness.
Yeah.
Because whatever programming you have, that's where it starts. So when you think about yourself and what you've given away, whether it's self-love, whatever it is, think about giving yourself back, right? And then apply that to the world through your story. That's why I said social media emulates human behavior. We've been giving ourselves away too much. This does a lot on a lot of levels. I'm keeping it in the business. I'm doing it with content for the business part. But when you think about that, that's why we do things the way we do.
Absolutely, John. And I'm telling you, this is good. And man, you just gave Lead to Greatness a great tease for the book that's dropping. It's going to be.
I don't know how quick they can move. I'm going to turn in my notes here this week, and we'll see. But everything is set up. Simon & Schuster is distributing, and I'm supposed to do a TED Talk. They have a TED Talk set up and all that stuff. So hopefully we can get it done before the end of the year. If not, I'll let you know.
Brother, you are going places. And I mean, you all through all the ups and the downs. I mean, the relentless behavior and just going no matter what. I mean, it's nothing can stop you. And I'm definitely excited about that.
Well, those are big words, dude, because I forgot what I did yesterday, and every day's a new day. You know what I mean? I really do.
Thank you. John, if someone wants to connect with you and what you do, where should they go?
You can Google John Edmonds Kozma, and that's EdmondsKozma, or bangproductionstv.com, or my Instagram, John E. Kozma. On Instagram is something I'm building now, and I drop a lot of different things on Insta and life lessons, and probably because I'm not buzzy, I'm just like cut or dry. I'm just trying to build an encyclopedia, and I think it's going to resonate big one of these days, but I just keep trying to teach and educate,
I love it.
I never thought I'd even be on camera, to be honest with you.
This was really good. Great information. The great information. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.